If you haven't found Groomore, you're missing out. Groomore is an all-in-one software solution for your grooming business. Whether you are a solo mobile groomer or manage several shops, Groomore has everything you need. 24-hour online booking and forms, routing, credit card processing, reminders, Google Calendar and QuickBooks integration, and so much more. And the best customer service anywhere. Shop mobile or house call, Groomore has you covered. And they're giving us a free month. Just enter GroomPod22 in the coupon code.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey, all you pet stylists. You found the GroomPod. Welcome to our virtual salon. My name is Susy, and I'm your host. I'm a mobile groomer from Seattle, Washington, and anyone who knows me will tell you I love to talk, especially about my job. One of my favorite people to talk to is my friend and mentor and co-star of the show, Miss Barbara Bird. Hello, groomers. Welcome to episode 420 of the GroomPod, recorded live on July 28th, 2024 in Snohomish, Washington. This podcast is brought to you by our kind sponsors, Best Shot Show Season, Precision Sharp Groomer, and Stasco. And if you guys would like to support the show, you can do so at our website, thegroompod.com, where you can click on the Patreon link or the Support Barbara button. This week, we're going to talk about stuff I use in the trailer and roller coasters. And if we have time, I'm going to talk a little bit about shaping, which is how you get a dog to put their head in your hand when you're trying to groom their face. Let's start off with the roller coaster thing, because I was so excited to get a roller coaster question. And the question was, what are my favorite roller coasters and why? So here it is. There's 3 different categories of roller coasters. There is the steel coasters, there is the wooden coasters, and then there's hybrids. And I actually have a favorite in each. Let's start out with the steel coasters. Steel coasters are super smooth most of the time. There's a few manufacturers that make them a little rough. And as I age, there's some of them out there that I know are going to be rough and I won't get on because I'd like to keep my neck in position. My very favorite steel coaster is called Tatsu, and it's at Six Flags Magic Mountain in Valencia, California. And I love it because it's a flying coaster, which means that you sit in a seat. Then the coaster tips forward and you end up laying down like Superman. So you can fly through the whole thing like Superman with your arms out front if you want, which of course I do that. And the track is on your back and you're laying down and there's nothing underneath you except for height. And Tatsu does this really cool maneuver called a pretzel loop. And it's really intense, and it's as close to being a fighter pilot as you'll ever get without having to get into a fighter airplane. It's amazing. It's got big drops. It's an unbelievable coaster. And there is a very similar coaster at SeaWorld Orlando called Manta, and it has a pretzel roll too. That's a fantastic element on a great coaster. The difference between the two coasters is Manta has absolutely spectacularly landscaped ground underneath it, and it's beautiful. Tatsu is on the side of a mountain. So the coaster is built halfway up the hill at Magic Mountain, and when you're looking over the drop, it seems much, much farther than that because of the way it's constructed on the mountain. It's just freaking amazing. And it's intense. And I once took my husband's best friend to SeaWorld in Orlando. Actually, I took him to 5 parks down there. But we went to SeaWorld, and I accidentally took the wife on the roller coaster, and it was her first time on a roller coaster, and that was bad. That was bad. So be careful if you come to the parks with me. I get very excited, and you can easily get caught up in my enthusiasm and end up on a ride you don't want to ride. So moving on to the hybrids. When the wooden coasters start to decay, they sometimes will bring in steel track and combine it with the wooden track, and they make it a hybrid. These hybrid coasters can do all kinds of different maneuvers, and my favorite hybrid coaster is also at Magic Mountain, and it's called Twisted Colossus. And it is a remake of the original Colossus at Magic Mountain, which was a dueling coaster, meaning there's two tracks, two sets of cars, and they go up the lift hill together, and then they start through the course together, and they duel the whole way through. So you're looking at the other people in the other cars, but in the old days, there used to not be any inversions. In other words, you never went upside down. But nowadays, especially with these hybrid coasters, you can go upside down. And Twisted Colossus has a move. It's built by Rocky Mountain Construction. It has a move where one car is on top on a track and the other car is underneath on a track, and the people are looking at each other upside down. It's called a high five. That is an amazing element, and it's so much fun. And it's fun to duel, although it doesn't duel all the time because the ride operators really have to be good to get it to duel. But I did ride it one day and dueled twice on it, and it's my favorite hybrid. On to the wooden coasters. My favorite wooden coaster is also in California. It's a big surprise because that's where I go all the time. And it is Ghost Rider at Knott's Berry Farm. And it used to be in everybody's top 10. Now there's some other wooden coasters that are pretty darn good, and they're included, like the Voyage and Apollo's Chariot and Beast. So those are all really cool wooden coasters. But Ghost Rider is a really neat coaster in a really small, compact space. And one time I went to Knott's Scary Farm, and we did the Stay and Scream package, which means you go in and you have dinner in the buffet, and then they let you into this corral area while you wait for all the monsters to come out. It is so much fun. And they open Ghost Rider. So we like to eat early because we're older. And my friends and I went in, we ate at the buffet, and we came out, and Ghost Rider was running, but nobody was over there yet. So we got to ride Ghost Rider 10 times in a row with two of my friends in the first car and myself and my other friend in the last car. And then eventually some people showed up and we had to get off. But it was so much fun. And it's moments like that that make those coasters special for me. That's Coaster Talk. Anybody have any questions? No? Well, I'm sure that bored you guys. We want to welcome Randy and Cheryl Lowe from Precision Sharp and invite you to check out their website where you can see their newest precise cut shear called Lynx. It's a patented design featuring a thumb ring that slides the length of the handle for perfect ergonomic placement of your thumb. Slide it and lock it into position to get your best groom on. Check it out at precisionsharp.com. Let's move on to the stuff I have in my trailer that I carry around every day. So I'm just going to go over my shampoos, and I lumped them by factory. So I'm going to start out with my Best Shot shampoos. The Best Shot shampoo that I use the most is Best Shot One Shot Deodorizing Shampoo. And it is really an odor killer, and I find that it's a good cleaner and it's pretty gentle. And if I'm doing a dog that has double coat or something I need to de-shed or demat, I will put a couple drops, and I'm talking drops, not more than that, couple drops of Best Shot the Max in with it because it doesn't have quite as much silicone as some of the others do. So for de-shedding or dematting, I add a little bit of the Max. But I use it all the time. I like the way it smells. I like the way it dilutes. It's not too heavy on the foam because that's a thing that drives me crazy is when the shampoos foam so much in my Bathing Beauty. By the way, I do use a Bathing Beauty 99.9% of the time. Not very often that I have to hand bathe, but I occasionally do. Best Shot One Shot is my primary shampoo. For those light color dogs, I always use Best Shot Whitener, the whitener shampoo. And at first, I didn't like whitener shampoos, but as it turns out, they do effectively brighten pretty much every color you use them on. So Best Shot, One Shot, and Best Shot Whitener. Then I carry Best Shot Lemonade, and I will admit it's because of the way it smells. I do operate a lot on smell, sadly. So I use the Best Shot Lemonade. It's a good cleaner, a little bit more heavy-duty cleaner, I feel, than the One Shot is. And it's got some oatmeal in it. Then on to more of the smells. I've used the Best Shot Vanilla Lemon Sentiment Shampoo when I need a light cleaning shampoo and I don't really worry about the dog being very dirty, like this inside dogs that don't go out very much, that are lap dogs for the older folks. Those dogs, sometimes I'll use a sentiment shampoo, and I like the lemon vanilla one best. Then for medical issues, I carry Best Shot Med with chlorhexidine. It's really the only medicated shampoo I carry. I like the Duoxo shampoo products, but I prefer that the clients bring those themselves for a medicated shampoo since I go through it pretty quickly. And those are also the dogs that I do without using the recirculator. At first, I will hand bathe them, let it soak, then I will finish off with the recirculator. I have Stasco oatmeal protein shampoo. That's the one that smells like apple. I like the Stasco products, but I hated that stupid old lady baby powdery kind of smell that was in the original Stasco products. The oatmeal products work the same, and they have a little added bonus of having the protein in there, the oatmeal, and they smell like apples. Apples, apples. I love that smell. So that's one of those that I carry all the time and use all the time when I feel like there's a skin issue pending, but it's not a really huge issue. Then on to show season. I carry a lot of show season. They have quite a variety of shampoos. So let's start out with the Show Season Clean is a good all-purpose shampoo. Some of the show season shampoos foam a little bit more than I like in the Bathing Beauty, but I like the way Clean smells. It's delicious. And then I've got True Tearless. It's the only hypoallergenic shampoo that I trust, and it's also theoretically tearless, which does not mean it doesn't cause tearing or ulcers. It just means it's less likely to cause ulcers. Definitely keep it out of the eyes, but you can wash around the face with that pretty well. And for anybody who doesn't like a scent at all, and I do have clients that don't like any smells, and some dogs that don't like smells, you know that because they sneeze and look at you crazy when you bring out the sprayer. Then I use True Tearless. I also use their conditioner as well. Then Show Season Down and Dirty, which is that light blue colored shampoo that they have. It's a good, nice, clean smell, and it works really well. And I use that on some of the dirtier dogs that I don't want to use the Best Shot One Shot deodorizer on. If I really want to get in there and get extra cleaning done, I use the Down and Dirty. If I want something that the smell is going to really last on, I use Show Season Bliss. It smells like a mixture between the plumeria smell, that plum silky that Nature's Specialty has, and the blueberry facial. It's kind of right in the middle. I like it a lot, and it has some staying powder, and they have a matching cologne, as they do with all their shampoos. So I use the matching cologne on that. Yeah, True Tearless is a great cleaning shampoo. I agree that a lot of the hypo shampoos do not clean very well. Tammy said that. Bliss, yeah, it's got staying power, and it is a really nice smell. It's a smell that my clients go, oh, what is that? And when they do that, I like it. Of course, I always check and make sure that it's not, oh, what is that? Because that's a whole different what is that. But if they like it, then I use it quite a bit. It's my replacement for the Nature's Specialty Plum Silky. This time when I went to Atlanta, I bought the Show Season System shampoo, which is formulated for using in bathing systems, and I'm liking it more and more as I use it. It's very concentrated. You only use a little bit, and it's low foaming, so it's perfect for the recirculator. Plus, it's not viscous. It's the opposite of viscous. It's runny. It's very thin, it's easy to pour, and you only need a little bit. So it works really well in my condiment bottles, which is what I use, like the Subway bottles that you see where they squeeze out the mayonnaise. Those are the bottles I use to put my shampoo in, and it works really well in that. Then I have, purely for my nasal pleasure, Show Season Sugar Cookie. I keep that all year round. And if I really want to do some light clarifying, I use Show Season Clarify. But if I want to do heavy duty degreasing, I always use Show Season Grime Time. Part of the reason I like Grime Time is it's in a tub, and it's really fun to stick your finger in. Although you're not supposed to stick your finger in unless your finger is very clean. The smart way to do it would be a tongue depressor or use a gloved finger, but it's really fun to stick it in there. And in my territory here, it's only a liquid product during probably July and August and maybe a little bit of September. But most of the year it's a solid. So I have to kind of dig it out and spread it apart in my Bathing Beauty, but it works really well. It's super deep cleaner. That's 1, 2, 3, let's see, 14 shampoos. Those are the 14 shampoos I carry every day, and I rotate through them. I choose different shampoos for different dogs. I mix it up a lot. I go through shampoo enough so that I'm not worried about having 14 different kinds of shampoo. I don't have quite as many conditioners. I have Best Shot One Shot conditioner that goes with the One Shot shampoo. I have Best Shot Ultramax conditioner that I use as an all-purpose conditioner. I've got Best Shot Sentiment Lemon Vanilla flavor because I like the way it smells. I also have Best Shot Lavender, and it's the new lavender smell, and I don't like it at all, and I'm just having to force myself to use it up. It smells like a lavender cleaner. It's not my favorite. I actually liked the previous lavender smell better than the lavender smell that they went to more recently. I guess it's been a couple years. Then I've got Stasco Oatmeal Protein Conditioner, and I do use that a lot. I'd say I probably use that even more than I use the Ultramax. I use the oatmeal protein from Stasco because, once again, I like that apple smell. And it works really well. And if I need it to be a little beefier, I add in a couple drops of the Max to that. And I'll do that to pretty much any of these shampoos or conditioners. Then an essential for me absolutely is Show Season Hypo Conditioner. It has 0 smell. I've never had a reaction with it, and it goes great with Show Season Tearless. So that's my Tearless protocol, and then add in the Max as a spray-on afterwards. So speaking of spray-ons, I do have a few sprays. I have the oatmeal protein spray from Stasco, and when I put it in the spray bottle, I always add a good squeeze of the Max. So I make it a little better, a little beefier, and then I make the Max have a little conditioning benefit from the oatmeal protein. So I use that as my spray-on. Then if I need a scent-free hypoallergenic spray-on to go with my True Tearless and Hypo Conditioner, then I use the Max diluted in a spray bottle. And that stuff is amazing. The Max is amazing. It's a fantastic product. And I can't really talk enough about it. And I'm going to say a little bit more about it here in a moment. But I also have, as far as spray-on things, I've got Ultramax Hair Hold Spray. And that is the Best Shot hairspray. And it's a decent hairspray. It's not like granny glue where it's going to stick stuff up straight up in the air and get all sticky. It's more of a gentle hair spray that you can layer on, and it helps create texture. And I like that because you don't feel it in the coat very much. I also have, as far as spray on things, I have the Best Shot One Shot deodorizing spray that I will use occasionally on some of those yeasty dogs where they get yeast, especially under their neck if they're in the water all the time. I'll hit that afterwards so that they're extra specially clean smelling after the bath. And I also carry Best Shot Dry Cleaning Shampoo, which is a waterless shampoo that you can spray on and spot clean if you need to. Sometimes if I've quicked a foot and it bled a little bit, I'll use that or some hydrogen peroxide on it. Other extras I've got in the trailer that I use. I've got the Max, of course, which is the greatest invention since sliced bread. I love it. I use it all over the place. Sometimes I use it as a detangling gel. Sometimes I use it diluted in a bottle. And oftentimes I'll use it mixed with a shampoo or a conditioner. And then my favorite use is to run it by itself through the Bathing Beauty as a conditioning rinse. So after I've done the bath, if I don't really want to pile on any conditioners, the dog's coat is in good shape, or I've cut most of it off or something like that, or I'm doing a demat. If it's a demat, I will run a final rinse with a little bit of the Max in the water, and I'll run that through the coat, make sure it gets really well circulated and gets to every part of the hair. And that is really helpful. Another magical combination is Best Shot the Max with Show Season Results Rinse. Results Rinse is a conditioner. It's a little acidified. It has a tiny bit of a surfactant in it now. It didn't in the original formulation, but they put one in. It is a great final rinse with a little bit of the Max in it, or without, for terriers and poodles and bichons and curly coats and anything that needs to stand up. If you don't want to weigh it down with a conditioner, use some Results Rinse. But it's supposed to be rinsed off. So you have to make sure that you rinse the Results Rinse off the dog before you dry it. And speaking of drying, I use all of these sprays as drying aids, all of them. I use the Stasco spray as a drying aid and the Best Shot spray as a drying aid. And they work really well. I spray them on and repeatedly spray it into the coat as I'm drying. Doesn't add weight. It doesn't add slickeriness. It doesn't make it look greasy. It does add slickeriness. I take that back. Yeah, the Results Rinse and the Max together are a magic bullet. I don't even know what else to call it. It's just an amazing combination. I really love it. Barbara told me to do that. Of course, she tells me everything, and I soak it all up. It all goes right in here. Anyway, other things that I have, I carry dollar store bath bombs. And the way I use the bath bombs is I usually do a bath bomb on a dog that feels grungy before the bath. I'll run the bath bomb in my recirculator. So I'll fill the bathtub, I'll drop the dollar store bath bomb in there, and then I'll hit the recirculator and I'll just circulate that bath bomb stuff, the sodium bicarbonate and whatever else is in there. That way I'm giving the dog a little massage also while it's happening. I don't do it a lot, but I will do it occasionally. And then I have FaceTime face wash from Show Season, which is a foaming face wash. I have it in a foamer, and then I have some concentrate that I carry with me as well, so I can fill that foamer back up. And that's how I wash faces. If I need to get in there close to the eyes, I always use a foamer. It's easier to control. I have 2 ear cleaners that I carry. I carry Lisa Leedy's Miracle Ear Elixir. For anybody with really yucky ears, that's the product I'm going to use. It is purple. So if you use it on a white dog and you do it after the bath, there's going to be some purple there. I try to do it before the bath. Occasionally I'll forget. It fades away pretty quickly. So if you do it after the bath but before the groom, it'll probably be faded back to the original color by the time you finish your grooming. But if it not, you just need to tell the people that you put in that. It's like Jennison Violet. It's a really nice antifungal, and it does a great job, and it's Lisa Leedy's Miracle Ear Elixir. For regular ear cleaning, I use Chris Christensen's ear cleaner. I like that product. It's not my favorite product, but I like it a fair amount, so I will use that. I always bathe the dogs first. I use the Bathing Beauty for every dog. I choose the products somewhat by what I'm thinking the dog can use and somewhat by what I have to use up. Occasionally I'll have to use something up because I've had it for a long time. But mostly if I'm doing a drop coat, it's going to be a Best Shot product. If I'm doing a short coat, it's probably going to be a Show Season product. If I'm going to demat, it's going to be a Best Shot product. I'm going to use the Max on almost everybody. And it's bath, blow, dry, and then cut the hair. And I use a clipper vac. So on to my last subject, which is a little bit about dog behavior. Barbara always gives me a bad time because she doesn't believe that I can get a dog to put their head in my hand without holding the face so that it lets me do the eye corners. But I can. And the way you do it is by shaping or capturing the moment when the dog does the right thing. I have a Shih Tzu Yorkie mix that is tiny, probably 5 pounds, maybe 4 pounds, really little, really deep wrinkles in the eyes underneath there. And one time she twisted and I nipped a little bit of a wrinkle off with my very sharp little tiny face shears. And from that moment on, she was a little bit more difficult to do on her face. She's a really good dog otherwise, but she began to fight me. Then as she aged, I did her yesterday, as she aged, her teeth have gotten really bad. So I could no longer hold her mouth down at the teeth area because it was very painful. And then I had nipped that little spot on her wrinkle, and she just had become very difficult. So basically, I had to start over again with her by shaping her behavior into what I wanted it to be. And what I wanted to happen was for her to lay her head into my hand so that I could do the wrinkles carefully without her moving. So I started out, she's very treat motivated, by rewarding her for putting her head in my hand. She is also very verbal motivated too. So I'd say, good girl, and I'd give her a nice cuddle on her face, and then I'd just leave it at that. And I do that repeatedly throughout the groom so that she would get comfortable with putting her head into my hand and leaving it there. The longer she would leave it there, the bigger a little cookie she would get, and it worked really well. She got that. Then I started to pull the hair up that I was going to need to cut out between her eyes. So I'd have her put her head in my hand and I'd have her stay there for a few seconds, long enough so that I could come in with my finger and lay my finger right across her nose and pull up some of that hair by pinching the hairs up. So I put my finger there and I pull up the hairs, and then I go over to the other side and I put my finger there and I'd pull those hairs up. So now at least I've got her holding her head in my hand, and I'm pulling the hairs up away from those evil wrinkles. And then I'd give her a treat. And we do that throughout the grooming. Of course, I've been grooming her for 13 years, so we've had a lot of time to practice this. Then eventually, when she got the hang of head in the hand, and she let me pull all the little hairs up, then I would have her put her head in my hand, pull the hairs up, then I would take my tiny face scissors and just lay them in there across the nose and then across the other side of the nose. Just laying them in there but not doing anything, and then treating and praising and treating and praising. So I did that for a while. Then I moved on to actually cutting the hair. And the trick is I need her to be really still for that. So I use the cue snip, so she knows when I'm going to make the noise with the scissors. So I put my scissors in there, I hold my hand under her chin, and I say snip, but I don't cut anything. And I did that repeatedly for grooming and made sure she understood that it was safe. Then eventually I was able to get her to put her head in my hand and to snip those hairs out without risking her wiggling and me catching the top of that wrinkle, or me sending her in with a lot of sticky outy hairs. So I hope that helps a little bit, your behavior corner. And I think we're going to call it a day. Yeah, that's about a half an hour. That's my portion of the GroomPod. So thanks for being here with me, you guys. I really appreciate it. And we're hoping that Barbara's having a fantastic time at her dog show. This is the cool part about being in South Carolina. She's got people around her who will come pick her up and take her to a dog show. She gets to hang out with groomers, and she's definitely getting a little bit better settled in at Danny and Lynn's house. Hopefully that's going to work out in the long run. It's a little bit interesting. The bummer is I cannot seem to get the audio anchored down yet. So her audio has been very much shower recording type audio. But I'm working on it, and I'll get it eventually. Nice to see everybody. Thanks for supporting me. I appreciate it. I know everybody who's on the list. That makes me feel good. It's like talking to my friends. It's very cool. Okay, I'm going to go. I've got a dog to groom this afternoon. I'm going to go get ready. But thanks for being here, you guys. I hope it was fun for you. It was definitely nerve-wracking for me, but I managed to make it work. All right. Have a great day. See you next time on the GroomPod. Bye-bye now.